What's going on, YouTube world? And today, man, we're going to be taking a look at like what makes a good ball review, as well as, of course, people ask Typhoon, Crown Vic, and the Moto Max Air Pro. Those kind of the big three that I heard of, and that works, right? Because this is one from each of the brands. The Crown Vic should, again, kind of be the earliest of these bunches, because honestly, I don't think it fits. But again, we're going to check it out regardless. But some of the questions I want to be kind of pondering, right, having a conversation with you guys about is, quality, right? Like that anybody can, turn on the phone, start recording, right? But what value are you bringing? What perspective are you adding to it? Because if I came on, right, and let's say I spoke a little bit differently, and some of my verbiage, right, was, not as clear, people wouldn't view, right? People wouldn't come to the channel. But how it visually looks, right? And I'll pan, around so you can kind of see what's going on, right? What I have, the equipment I use, and I'll kind of mention some of that. I get a lot of questions, like, how do I get my videos look like yours? And I'm like, one is spend a lot of money, and then two, I spend a lot of time learning all of my equipment, right? So that I can execute. And I've messed up, and I still have my hiccups here and there, right? Where autofocus is like crazy. I'm never in focus the whole time, or, the audio might mess up, or, whatever the handful of things are that can come up, that you still have to overcome. You still got to put the content out. So again, today, right, I'm going to, as we start throwing some of the other balls, the Typhoon, Crown Vic, and Max Air Pearl, I'll just kind of mention, like, hey, I started with this particular camera, and just so we can get to it, the camera I'm currently using, right, is a Nikon Z8. This is a very, very expensive camera, and thank you to my darling wife, right? Like my wife, for my 30th birthday, right, believed in the dream, right, and she really, invested into me, right, so into our family essentially. So that's a huge thing. Not everybody's wife can do that, right? When you go look up the prices of that, right? This is a $2,000 plus camera, right? So but that didn't come overnight. That didn't come like I started the channel and I started with this. No, I started with shooting stuff on my phone, and then I graduated to a DSLR. If you don't know what that is, right? That's just simply, right, a camera that's using like a mirror, right, to look through the viewfinder, and it's still a digital camera, but it's just different, right? And if you are a big camera person, right, there's a ton of camera information out there. But then I graduated to a Nikon Z50, right, and then my parents, right, they helped me with that for like Christmas or a holiday or whatever. So again, I'm fortunate and blessed, man, to have family that believes in what I'm doing, and I've shown consistency, and that's a big part of this. Good, bad, sad, or indifferent. Whether I was throwing the ball great that day or throwing it really bad another day, I keep putting the content out. I take the criticisms. People are going to comment on this video. Why are you talking so much? But I'm trying to give you guys as much information as possible here. So again, if you do want to make content, like, do it. Don't, you're not your first piece of content you put out. I don't care how great it is. There's so many content creators out there now that their content, is not getting seen. Like, because you just have to be consistent. You have to continue to put out content. You can't put it out once a month and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like Packy, I'm gonna be like Darren Tang, right? That's not how this works. So again, just stuff that we're gonna continue to have a conversation as we continue to throw the bowling balls. But I wanted to, like, what makes good content? So one thing is equipment. That's gonna be the first thing we're gonna talk about. Then we're gonna talk more about some of the jargon and how you go about explaining things, because that's a very important part. So let's throw, again, a couple of the bowling balls, and I know that's what you're here for. You saw the thumbnail. So there is some oil out here. It's not fresh, but it's definitely, again, I have like 2 games on the lane, and it's just me, so. Yeah, that is, this and identity, bro, stupid. Like, I'm just being real with you. But yeah, equipment. Yeah, started with Nikon D3400. Like, it's several years ago now, right? That's back when I still lived in Texas. So it's like almost 6-7 years ago. And then I used that camera, and it's about lenses. A lot of the visuals, like, you have a very expensive camera, but if you don't have the right lenses, like, whatever comes in a box is pretty much garbage. This is why they actually sell, you know, like different kits. And you can just buy the camera with no lens on it when we're talking about interchangeable lenses. But that's exactly why it can shoot right here, and my focus point can be much further down the lane, and it still looks sharp, right? Like I can still zoom this picture in and make it look good. But that's because of the lens I'm using, right? I'm using a prime lens. You'll hear that term because it doesn't zoom. So if I wanted to get this picture closer, I either have to do that in post, or again, just move the camera physically closer. So just wanted to kind of reference that. But yeah, standing on 25, that first shot looked really good. Oh, that's up the right. Oh yeah, oh, yeah. If that would have been crazy, I would have lost my mind. Let's go again, Crown Vic. Oh my God, Lee. Oh, that was, I wasn't ready for that. So like that went, again, 9-pin, 4-pin. That's how high that ball went. Yeah, I'll go 25. For last shot, I kind of walked. I think I walked to the right. Nah, player. This seems a lot stronger of a bowling ball, like even front to back. Like the Typhoon is angular, but the Crown Vic is steroids. Like it's again, it's like just a step up, like earlier, stronger, overall, more hook down lane. All right, so let's throw one. I want to throw one a little bit further to the left, just to get to the pocket, you know, see if we can get a strike. That is stupid. Like again, the Crown Vic surprised me every time I throw it. So yeah, this is probably gonna be big dog of this bunch. Just my early predictions here. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into getting a Max Drill Pearl. But yeah, back to again lenses. The last thing I mentioned, lenses can almost sometimes range almost as expensive as the cameras themselves, right? Depending on what you're doing. Now, what I tell everyone is maximize what you are currently using. Like if you have a phone, add lights. Lights dramatically add so much more quality, you know, to, again, the footage, right? Like if you're working hard, most bowling centers are dark. Like you need to add light, and that camera and that sensor, right, doesn't have to work as hard. It's not gonna be as pixelated. Add lights. Like literally, that's an easy step. You don't have to really do too much differently, but add the light. And you will see, right, the closer you make the lights, the more harsher it is on you. So the further back, the softer the light is gonna be. Now, if you get really expensive, right, you can go get a soft box light. So it's a light with a box around it, and it kind of softens the light like a lot easier. So somebody like Brunswick, right, has a more elaborate setup. I'm using LED lights here. And again, you'll see, you know, that when I pan across to see exactly what I'm doing here currently. But yeah, man, this is one step, one easy step. Still can be expensive, right? But there's lights from the gambit from, you know, $100, $50, all the way to $400 to $300, $400 to $1,000, right? Light setup. So you have a lot of different options. All right, so now jumping back to, again, Max Drill Pearl. Yeah, bro, the Crown Vic look crazy. So I expect this to, again, look a lot closer to the Typhoon. So might be the roundest of the bunch. It's, after that first shot, it just held. Maybe it was in an oil and it just saw it and floated. So I don't know, but we'll throw another shot, see what we get. Again, this is a brand new one, Max Drill Pearl. 25. Let's try it again. Yeah, definitely feels archy, like off of that. And again, I kind of expected it to in relation to Crown Vic is just kind of, yeah, next level, you know, in my opinion. Like I honestly feel like the Primal Rage matches up closer to what the Crown Vic is, which is like a full ball up in the range when you look at the ball chart for motive. But again, when we're talking about just making good quality videos, right? Like if you've been making videos a certain way for so many years, like you have to continue to add value. That's what keeps bringing people back, right? So like again, over the time, right? If you go watch my earliest videos, right? They look good, right? But the colors, it wasn't as bright. Again, it just wasn't as interactive. I didn't have a microphone. Everything was straight voiceover. Yeah, nothing wrong if that's what you want to do, right? I'm not knocking anybody, but if you want to grow, right, you gotta continue to add layers. Do the good things, and build off of them. Listen to the viewers, right? Listen to them. Take the critiques, right? Don't get angry at every negative message, right? But just take it into your Rolodex and see, like, all right, how can I do this better? Just try to be objective. But yeah, so that's, a huge part of this, right, is the elevation and continued elevation. But the conversation, we're gonna talk a little bit more about the conversation piece after I throw another shot with the Typhoon. I'm gonna jump right. Ooh. Part of this is about being entertaining, right? If you want to, kind of just read or go through a lesson plan, you can do that. But if you go watch some of the biggest across the board, like there's a level of some entertainment value to it, right? Like I watch a lot of camera YouTube, so Gerald Undone is probably like the most like scientific breakdown of like cameras. Like cameras come out, like Bowlersmarts come out, like not every month, but they're pretty frequent. So you have to, he caters to an audience, right? So car YouTube is another one, right? A lot of people want that detail. They want that super, scientific breakdown, piece by piece, where I'm building an engine or I'm adding a different exhaust or, it's just a bunch of different details that you can get very mechanical and textbook about. So things to just keep in mind, right? What audience are you catering to? And this is difficult in our particular industry, right? This bowling industry, because a lot of that detailed information may be proprietary, right? And the company is not going to tell you exactly, what HK22 is, right? Or REX, right? We don't know what exactly those are from a chemical standpoint, and how does that relate to on the lane performance, right? Like they can do their best job to explain it, but it's not as contextual, right, as hey, if I add this muffler, right, we're going to add 1,000 more horsepower, right? It's not, we can't, calculate it the same way. And that's one of the difficult parts about being a scientific ball review channel. So a lot of the viewership, right, they want more information, as much information as you can possibly give, but they want it in a way, right, that's really receptive. We've seen a lot of YouTubes come up now, Brunsnick being one, like he was kind of dormant. Then he came back and he's added so much value, I feel like, to YouTube, just environment, right? Like he's having fun, he's doing all the cool things to do, whether it's bowling with a spare ball or bowling with no oil, he's doing all those different things. So what are you willing to do? Are you trying to do some of that niche-y stuff? But some of it's evergreen too, like transition. Like you gotta be able to talk about those different things. Are you comfortable in front of the camera? So just, again, giving you a lot of information here to better your understanding. And that's really what this video is about. Better your understanding, make better content. So they both those balls, Typhoon and Crown Vic, from right there looked pretty good. Like, honestly, they rolled up, enough energy, plenty of energy, enough traction, and it came out the spot. So, but again, man, having fun on camera is huge. Trying to have a point, like about so many videos, right? I try to, like talk about something, right? Have a more specific point, right? Whether a solid bowling balls, right? Some come out of box shiny, or some come out of box dull. When you walk into the pro shop, right? I want the strongest hooking ball. Well, let's talk about it. What does that mean, right? To the average bowling consumer, they don't really know the difference. Let's try another shot. Max thrill. Oh, splash. Splash. Again, all of them look pretty good from right there. But yeah, man, entertainment value, having a point to the video, right? Like anybody can throw a ball down the lane, but can you talk about it, break it down, describe the ball motions of what you're seeing? You know, here specifically, right? Definitely seen an earlier ball motion from the Max Thrill Pearl, right? You see it picking up, chugging, so being a little more archier, so it's not transitioning nearly like off the spot. It's not as erratic. That's the one that's kind of rolling downhill, but the other two are definitely a little bit cleaner, a little more pop. But yeah, this Typhoon is getting very, 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 very good. Oh, yeah, plenty of motion. So like that in-between zone really is going to be okay. I think the Max Thrill Pro is probably going to look the best from there. I'm going to try to repeat that shot with the Crown Vic. I expect the Crown Vic to actually cross over because we don't have enough angle, but we don't have enough oil. Because to the right, like there's some oil over there. So something to push it, help it down the lane. Where right that particular zone, it's like no help. It's like max penalty. Okay, that looked pretty good. So again, it's able to keep some speed on the ball, and I liked it. But yeah, so all three of these are definitely like asking to, get left. Yeah, so max forgiveness is the Max Thrill Pearl, and then as we saw, like the Crown Vic looked pretty good from right there, and then we saw a little more over under from the Typhoon. But I honestly believe just because the Typhoon is the cleanest and the most responsive. That's just from what I've seen. You get big lefts, so now I'm on 28, inching close to 30 now. Oh, I came dead around it too. Yeah, that was bad. I literally did. It was bad. That was bad. But of course, how you actually bowl matters. In this realm, honestly, there probably should be more two-handed, channels, because most youth bowlers, right? There's a lot more than there ever has been. So now we need more information, right? More. It's just difficult because the most people who are sitting there commenting are not the youth bowlers, right? These are the 35 to the 50-year-old crowd. No disrespect to any of them, right? They're great. They support. They're a huge part of my channel. So again, I love you guys. But the people coming up, they don't want to hear, oh, throw it, don't stop cheating, right? They don't want to hear that, right? That's not encouraging, the next generation that's coming behind you, right? So we got to figure out a better balance of that. So channels like, Rex, Real Experience Ball Reviews, right? They're doing their best job, right, to incorporate that content out there. Packy, Packy's on the left side of the lane. So that's just, again, all those different things, matter, right, to the masses, because Packy plays to a particular crowd. And again, the entertainment. Packy has tremendous entertainment value. So, and then now that we have Darren Tang as well doing two-handed, right, adds a lot of value. And if I'm missing somebody, hey, again, no slight to you, bro, none. Like, again, it's just, hey, bro, I have a lot to do. So those guys just came to my mind. But, we have to, again, keep those things in mind when you're trying to make content. How are you different from, myself? How are you different from, Luke Rosendahl? How are you different? So, typically, like beforehand, right, it wasn't a lot of people getting in front of the camera, getting the wireless mics, talking to the camera, right? There's a lot of voiceover work being done. Again, no slight to any of those people, but I knew that was going to be an edge for myself. So what is your edge? What value are you adding, to the industry at large? So, and if you want just pure, you don't want to hear this conversation, I'm going to add at the end of it just some shots, some lane level shots, and you're going to be able to just watch that. Hope you enjoy it. If you want to just skip to that part, because then in the video, man, you don't want to hear Charles talk no more. It's all good. No sweat. You ain't hurting my feelings. You clicked on the video, so I love you like a play cousin, man. Crown Vic. Oh, I lofted it too. Yeah, that added loft really helped push that ball down the lane. All right, I expect this one to kind of look probably the smoothest. Yeah, so yeah, Max Air Pro, getting the smoothest off of it. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that much. I'm gonna put this one down, like not lofted as much, and see what it gives us. And then also, I forgot to mention, and equipment. What editing program are you using? All right, like it's gonna make your workflow much more difficult if you're not using a powerful machine or even an iPad. Like I've been using a lot of stuff on iPads because I have a small child now, so I need to be able to just move around the house or wherever and kind of knock stuff out. So you need something with a very strong processor, right? So, you know, you can't use your laptop from 15 years ago, right? It's just not strong enough, especially if you're processing 4K files. Like, you don't have to do 4K, right? But that's what I do. But you can do, you know, HD, no problem. But it's just, again, I know my videos are gonna look a certain way. What's your edge? Nope. So definitely Max Air Pro likes it much more further, again, to the right. Furthest to the left, we definitely got Crown Vic and Typhoon, 100%. And one way, right, even for myself, is to add more angles to, again, the recording. Because, again, you got to think about the return, right? So if I said, hey, go do exactly what I did. Go get a camera, spend about, you know, $500 to $600, right? That was my first camera around price, and with the lenses, right, that's about where I was at. I used the computer that I had. It made processing video footage slow, right? Because when you try to render a 4K file or even an HD file, it's a load on your processor. You have to keep memory cleared. It's a whole thing. So if I was doing it, use whatever machines you currently have. Start with your phone, right? And adjust the settings in your phone to be as, you know, add as much value and quality like to that footage. And I would say use lights. Use your phone, use lights, use your existing computer, right? And programs to use, right? You can just use CapCut, right? You use CapCut, that's a very popular one. It can handle everything. Typically might be, again, might be a smidge slower if you editing out or exporting out, you know, a 10-minute video. But that's why we're starting, right? That's my starting place. You know, there's a lot of mirrorless cameras you can get for little to nothing, secondhand, Best Buy, you know, package opened, you know, type of stuff. So that's where I would personally start to making good quality videos. So talk to the camera. We are in a transparent, you know, world where people care what you look like, what you sound like, what you walk like, what you're wearing. It's a very judgmental place, all right? You know, and I can go look back at my videos and I know, you know, I done got a little heavier over time. But again, that's life, man. I'm hopefully here soon I'll be able to get back in the gym and, you know, work out, and me and the wife get life balanced out. But, you know, you gotta show your personality. You gotta be able to be a little vulnerable. Again, it's very weird, bro. I promise you, recording, and there's other people around, and you're talking to a camera across the room. And I'm gonna just show you. I'm gonna get my phone so you can see what I'm talking. So we jumped over here, right? And I just want you to see, again, how far my camera is. That's how far my camera is, all the way back there. So this kind of what my setup looks like, right? Got 2 lights back there and some bowling balls. So that's what it looks like, guys. You know, my camera back there and 2 lights. It's not that crazy. I could definitely go more elaborate, but again, for what I'm doing and the rate of return, I got to keep that in mind, right? If I spend $1,000, how could I want to talk to this camera. Why, you know, how much can you get back from it? You know, and I started off not getting anything back for at least like a year and a half, you know, almost 2 years, right? Like I'm just working, hoping, you know, that it will start to connect. And then once a channel is monetized and then I'm starting to see something come back. But as soon as you start monetizing your channel, bro, you're getting pennies. Bro, like it's not even full dollars yet, bro, like until you grow the audience. So it's not easy. It's not something you're gonna immediately day one, oh yeah, I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, bro, you're not, bro. Typically, again, you talk about the bigger the YouTube channel, then you start divvying out some of the work. So you look at the Brad and Kyles, right, who have somebody who's recording, has somebody who's editing, right? Like they're not keeping all the profits for themselves. So they're making a lot of money, right? But you're paying employees. So you gotta keep that type of stuff in mind. So, hey, they might walk around with a $2,000 camera, but they can justify it. So you gotta be able to justify, you know, start with your phone, right? Then you elevate because you showing yourself consistency, you showing the people around you consistency, and posting again once a month, it's not gonna do it. Like the companies don't care, like nobody gonna care. Like they all, hey man, you recording, you're once a month, you get after it. But I'm telling you, you gotta do a little bit more than that. If you wanna be consistent in this game because it's flooded. It's flooded. So what are you gonna do differently? But we're gonna throw a couple more shots and then we're gonna get to those close-ups. Again, Typhoon looks crazy. Again, that ball hooks a ton down lane, man. Very, very fond of that ball. Oh, it tried to dance. It tried. I'm not mad, man. Yeah, so if I miss a little more in the oil, this ball is still gonna pick up that Max Thorough Pearl and it's still gonna roll and go through the pin. So again, very, very happy with that particular ball reaction. All three of these work. Crown Victory definitely getting the strongest. Then like strongest as far as like early and overall hook. And then you have the earliest ball, which is the Max Thorough Pearl, so earliest and again, archy. And then the most flip, I still kind of get out to the Typhoon. Like, but it's, the Typhoon is like the little brother to the Crown Vic. Like you put them both in the bag, they both hook. But the Crown Vic, if you see some more oil, that Crown Vic is gonna keep going, where that Typhoon is gonna get a little wiggly, you know, until you develop some friction. But yeah, man, go ahead, enjoy these last shots, man. I appreciate you guys as always. You wanna make good videos, man, invest in yourself. Worry about the context and the content of what you're actually saying, adding value, describing the ball motion, right? Everything's good, I know, but just describe your experience is one thing. You know, if you're a person that does need to do voiceover, right? Analyze the footage and can add value that way, 100%. I just say, turn the camera on while you're doing a voiceover. Put a little box in the corner or something, or cut away and cut back in, right? Takes a little more editing, but you know, learn those particular programs, right? Final Cut Pro, CapCut, DaVinci Resolve, you know, Premiere, all of it, right? Add the tools to the toolbox. And yeah, man, get the equipment, have fun. You gotta be energetic. My viewers tell me all the time, when my energy is down, they're like, bro, take a break. You're exhausted. So again, be mindful of that. So as always, man, hit the like, subscribe, get to Hype Nation as well. Enjoy these shots.
Behind the wheel in the new bent. Can't see me though through the blue tent. Got the red light, drop the top on them. Rims match, the watch on them. Birds watch, they flock on them. I'ma keep it moving with the music up, I'ma keep them grooving. You sleeping on me, just keep snoozing.